welcome to the Premier Football Podcast. I am Rafe Garland.
I'm Joe Doherty.
We've got an absolutely jam-packed show today. Firstly, thank you for joining us live for the first time on Facebook.
That's it.
Delighted to be doing it. Today we have got reviews of some of the international football. We're talking about England and Ireland. Some of the major talking points, obviously some of the scenes in Bulgaria. Cristiano Ronaldo, 700 career goals. And we're going to preview all of the weekend action. Jam-packed. Joe, we're going to start with you straight away. Can you give us a quick review of the England game the other night?
Yeah.
We'll talk about the football first, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Well, to be perfectly honest, it was all over at half-time. England had already scored 4 goals. They got another 2 in the second half. And it was fairly straightforward, to be perfectly honest. Bulgaria showed absolutely no quality whatsoever. I think that they haven't won a single game this calendar year, which is pretty poor. And yeah, they were very, very average. They were there for the taking, and despite everything that happened, England were very professional and didn't let it affect them. And they used the negative energy that the crowd were showing them against them to their own advantage to score as many goals as possible.
Yeah, brilliant. You said that you wanted to see a response from the England team after the Czech Republic game, and I think emphatically you got one. You said 2-0.
Yeah,
we had 6-0.
Yeah, I think they were 2-0 up inside 25 minutes, and I put a tweet out then saying that I was sure it was going to be a lot more than that. They just looked in the mood. Everyone was playing well. Marcus Rashford, I think it was the perfect game for him to
we said last week that Marcus Rashford only scores penalties and screamers.
Yeah, and he scored an absolute screamer.
Absolute screamer,
cutting in. Do you know what? And I think we touched on it in the last pod as well, is that he's much better suited to playing on the wing. Yeah. And he played out wide on the left, Sterling on the right, and of course Harry Kane through the middle. And he took his goal ever so well, cutting in from that left-hand side to power a shot right over the keeper into the far corner.
Yeah, no, it was a really complete performance from England, I think. Unfortunately, the game was marred by a few, not all of the Bulgarian fans.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
It seemed to be quite a large section of the Bulgarian support who were all dressed in black.
Yeah.
And I was either leading up to the game or in the early minutes. There were pictures going around showing them doing Nazi salutes. So you kind of figured from there that there'd be something else would happen.
Yeah.
And it seemed that every time Tyrone Mings, who was playing on their side, left side of centre back, so obviously when he got the ball, he moved into that more advanced kind of inside channel close to the touchline, and they were just hurting him a monkey chance.
Before the game, the England team had come out and said in the media that they were going to walk off should there be any racial abuse.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
The referee gave them the option to.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, he stopped it. There was a pause in the game about 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
And he gave them the option to walk off. The game stopped, and they decided not to. They decided collectively that they would, like I said in the introduction, that they would use the animosity being shown to them by the crowd to their own advantage and try and score as many goals as possible.
Now, it wasn't really that big of a deal. The Bulgarian coach said he didn't hear anything. Joe.
Yeah.
He said that England have a bigger problem than Bulgaria do when it comes to racism, and he might have a point that racism is rife in England still. Yeah. But he didn't hear anything.
Yeah, no, that's a joke. It was clear to hear. In watching TV, it was clear to hear, and all the news reports have been saying that it was shocking abuse. They were kicked out at half time by the police, so I think that says everything. So for him to come out,
the Bulgarian head of the FA has resigned this week as well.
He has, yeah. Well, the coach, I'm not going to defend him. It's indefendable, but he was trying to protect his fans, right? He was trying to protect his.
I think the Bulgarian captain as well was noted for actually going over at halftime and talking to the fans and pleading with them to stop.
Yeah, he did. That was a great image. And then the coach had some bullshit comments saying that he
didn't know what he was doing.
He was apologising
for the performance.
Yeah, he was apologising for the poor performance. But did you know that over half of the stadium was closed off specifically for racist abuse that had happened in a match earlier on in the year? So it's
is this a case of an isolated incident that we're seeing? Is racism returning to football?
I don't think racism has ever left football, and I don't think that racism has ever left society. It's definitely still there. We see that in England with in the North London. I can't remember exactly which game, but it was North London derby. It could have been the 4-2 in 2018 last year.
Yeah.
And Aubameyang scored, and a banana was thrown to the pitch.
Yeah. So what needs to be done about it? what's the answer to racism in football? Is it stadium bans? Is it teams being kicked out? Is it fines? Is it players? What's the answer?
What do you think hurts teams the most? Is it money or is it points
I
deduction?
think it depends on the team, but I mean, it's points deductions. It's being kicked out of competitions.
That's it. But when we're talking about money, they never give a hefty fine. Didn't Nicholas Bentler get fined 100 grand for showing his Paddy Power underwear in Euro 2012?
Yeah.
But Serbian fans were fined the Serbian FA were fined 60 grand for their fans giving racist abuse. That's a slap. That's at best a slap on the wrist. You need to be finding them serious money, or else docking points.
What's the point of a partial stadium closure?
Nothing.
Why is it? Why should it? Surely only the travelling fans should be allowed in.
Absolutely.
Only tickets sold through the English FA should have been allowed into the game, and it should essentially be a home match in Bulgaria for England.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't get me. I can't understand that one. It doesn't make sense. So as regards to dealing with the problem and eradicating it, I think that you have to treat it with the utmost severity, and that is docking points, be it in the Premier League. Like if Spurs had been docked points for that incident rather than the fan being banned for life, then that affects their season a whole lot
these
more.
bans for life, how policeable are they? I mean, I know that the UK is massive into CCTV and there's facial recognition and stuff, but I mean, it's going to be at least half an hour or 40 minutes into a game before someone gets picked up and pulled out, and I mean, punishing the teams, going after the teams, making them accountable for the actions of their supporters. Really. Because
then the supporters will really feel it.
That's self-policing as well.
They want their team to do well, right? What supporter wants their team to suffer? If the teams are the ones who are made to pay for it, then I think that's probably the best way to get fans to stop behaving like this. If you can stop this sort of behaviour in society, that's a whole other question. But in football, that's definitely the way to go.
We will move on from England a little bit. There were a couple of other international games that we want to talk about. Ireland were in action on Tuesday evening last night, and unfortunately didn't get the result that they wanted. They were in with a shot at qualification last night. It is still in their hands. They fell victim to a 2-0 defeat last night. I think that the performance in the first half wasn't good enough. Mick came out and played 3-5-2, a system that he's not really especially familiar with, let alone some of the players. Commendable for obviously keeping two strikers up top, and he wanted to keep the three in midfield. It didn't really work out. The lads took a while to get to grips with it. They found themselves a goal down early on. Your mate Granit Xhaka found himself in the book after 31 minutes. I know we were doing bets before the game. They came out much stronger in the second half. O'Dowda came on and they looked a different team. They were the better team in the second half. They really pushed. They really gave it everything, and they conceded a second goal late on, chasing the game. Which does happen. It was great to see Ireland go and try to have a go. I don't think Mick got it quite right with the tactics in the first half. I think he was asking a little bit too much of the players, especially against a team as good as Switzerland with the class that they have. It is still in our hands. We've got to play Denmark on the last day of the group at home. A win will see us go through, but it doesn't look like anything else is going to be good enough. Switzerland have 2 3-pointers, 2 in the bag 3-pointers coming up, and the Danes have one as well, both against Gibraltar. They both play Gibraltar, and Swiss play Georgia as well at home. And you really can see them picking up all 9 points in those 3 games, the two teams. So Ireland have got to beat Denmark on the last day, and that was always going to be the case. Really, they had to beat one of the big teams somewhere at some stage.
That's football, isn't it?
If you
want to win things,
if you had given Ireland the chance when the group came out of taking it down to the last day at home against Denmark, I think most Ireland fans would have taken that. I mean, they played 7 games and scored 6 goals. 2 of those were against Gibraltar.
What do you think of the individual performances last night? There was a lot of praise for Darren Randolph, who pulled off a string of great saves.
I mean, if your goalkeeper is getting praise, you've got to look at a few of the other lads. I don't think the system did the lads any favours. Second half, I highlighted O'Dowda. I think he really made a difference to the game. I don't think Aaron Connolly really got the service he was looking for in the first half. James McLean had been under a little bit of pressure before the game. I think he was brilliant again. He runs around, gives it 100% every single week. I don't think he can really be faulted. No, I think it was a system thing, and even in the second half you could see Ireland first to every second ball. They really wanted it, they were up for it.
Would there be a case to say that if you're going to play with wing backs, you should play the best right wing back in the league? And
that's the other thing.
Plays that position week in, week out for Wolves.
Look, it's an unpopular opinion of the week, but Seamus Coleman is done. We spoke about Michael Keane playing for England, a regular feature in a team that's 18th in the Premier League, it's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now Matt Doherty's playing European football this year.
Yeah.
He was the second best right back in the Premier League last year, in my opinion, only after Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
I know people will talk about Wan-Bissaka. Doherty was better.
Yeah.
Anyone playing fantasy football last year had Matt Doherty was the first name in the team.
He did clean sheets,
assists,
goal.
a few goals.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a good player. He can feel really hard done by. I know Seamus is captain, but I mean, you've got to pick the 11 on merit, really, don't you?
Yeah, you have.
He's not been the same since that leg break. Yeah, so you heard it here first. Seamus is finished.
Done at this level. Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there.
The big global story about international football this week. CR700.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo, 700 career goals, Joe.
Yeah.
Is he the best of all time? The GOAT, the greatest of all time?
That's a very tough question. You need to analyse it a bit more. There's certainly tough competition with Pele, with Maradona, with Messi. You think outside of those four, there's no one really out.
A lot of people say Pele wasn't that good.
We weren't around.
We weren't.
Times, but his statistics and the impact that he had on the game speak for themselves. And the video footage that we have been lucky enough to see, they speak for themselves as well. Ronaldo is he's a favourite of mine. He's obviously a favourite of yours as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Always has been.
I think
since he left United.
Yeah, since he left United, exactly. In terms of the overall package that you get, the rigorous training.
Yeah.
Yeah, the approach to every game, how he keeps himself in shape at the age of 33,
I think
forward that he's still.
There's a great story about Ronaldo when he started at Manchester United. Paul Scholes told it. He said that Ronaldo used to stay behind after training and he used to run ladders with leg weights on.
Yeah.
And the United class 92 used to laugh at him.
Yeah.
Think that he thought he was better than he was, and he had these grand delusions and notions of being the best player in the world.
Yeah.
But it kept him going. I mean, he's the same age as Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, and look at the difference. There's another story of Patrice Evra went round to Ronaldo's for lunch.
Yeah.
And after eating lunch, Ronaldo insisted on doing extra training, and they'd just come from training, and Patrice Evra couldn't believe what was going on. I think he was probably used to putting his feet up on the couch and playing a bit of FIFA in the afternoon or something like that. But like, I mean,
he seems to get better every year as well. He's maybe not last year, but up even for the international stuff. I think I read a statistic. I think he's played 80 something games in the last 2 years. Scored 80 something goals. It's not quite a goal a game, but I mean, he's in his mid 30s, Joe.
Yeah, he is. It's phenomenal. I think that how he's developed, how he's changed his game to suit his changing body is the best thing about him. He started with buckets of pace, and don't get me wrong, he's still quick, but for the last kind of 4 or 5 years, he hasn't been taking players on to such an extent that he used to. He doesn't do the step over, the dribbles down the wing and those sort of goals, but what he has done is he's worked on his movement and his finishing and his awareness, and he is just always in the right place at the right time.
And he's a leader as well.
He carries the teams that he plays for. His ability to finish with right foot, left foot, header from the penalty spot, from the free kick. I mean, no one else is as good as him at that.
We've got a few comments coming in from disgruntled fans saying that Ronaldo is not the best player in the world. If you want to let us know who is the best player in the world, by all means, let us know. We're going to carry on. We're going to talk about the club that Cristiano Ronaldo really broke onto the scene. Manchester United, Joe.
Yeah.
Most successful team in England.
Yeah.
Play against the other most successful team in England this weekend.
Yeah.
Red Sunday.
Yeah. You can say the most successful against the second most successful.
You could. Well, it depends if we're counting European Super Cups as to which team is the most successful. We've had this discussion before, but they're both up there. I think technically Liverpool have one more trophy these days.
Right.
But it depends on which trophies you're counting. It's in Old Trafford.
Yeah.
United have a couple of players back. Martial, Pogba back in the team. Liverpool have Alisson back in goal.
Yeah.
Talk us through it. What do you see happening, Joe?
I think it'll be a straightforward win for Liverpool. I think United are crap. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a dead manager. I think his tactics are non-existent. Well, they're not non-existent. He's playing park and bus football. Even against mid-table and lower-table sides, he's playing two defensive midfielders. I think he's petrified of losing. He's petrified of losing his job, which is a real possibility at this stage. And you think that if Liverpool go there and win comfortably, that'll be the last time we see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I've heard from a lot of United fans that they would want him gone.
Yeah,
should that happen?
Yeah.
But do you think that the players will give him a reaction playing at home against Liverpool? I mean, is this a cup final for them?
They'll up their game. When they played Arsenal a couple of weeks back on a Monday night fixture, they really upped their game. They were the better side, and apart from a 10-minute period in the second half, Arsenal were second best. That being said, Liverpool are a far more complete team than Arsenal, a far more dangerous team going forward, and a far more compact team at the back. So, obviously, this is a bigger rivalry than
I mean, it's normally a
Arsenal
rubbish game. We talk about how poor the United Arsenal game was.
Yeah.
This is normally a pretty poor game for all the hype around.
When Mourinho was in charge of United, he used to just try to kill the game.
Can you see Ole trying to have a go at Liverpool?
I think that's his only way.
You think he's going to go for it?
If he sits back, they're done for. They're done for. They can't. What with Matic and McTominay trying to stop Mane and Salah running past them?
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Okay.
No. They have to go for it. Martial's probably going to be back. Pogba's going to be back. Rashford scored a great goal on Monday night. They have. When we really look at it, they
and Martial had been playing through the middle before he was injured, and Rashford had been out left, and they did look okay.
Yeah,
you have to remember that Martial has been missing for I think 5 game weeks now, 4 game weeks.
Yeah,
he's missed a lot of football.
Yeah,
and they did look good while he was playing.
Yeah.
This is the kind of game that Paul Pogba might show up in as well. He knows there's a big audience. People are going to be watching him. People are going to be talking about him. I wouldn't write off United necessarily. I don't think they're going to win the game. I can't see that happening. I can't see Liverpool losing. I can see a scoreless draw or a low scoring draw. I think United will be compact. They'll try to hit Liverpool on the break. I think Liverpool will be nervous of dropping points as well. I know that Klopp highlights their mentality every week and talks about how good they are, but this is a game that they don't want to lose. You know, they're trying to go for this record in terms of the longest winning streak.
Yeah,
that's going to be playing on their minds. You know what I mean? They've got to be focusing on the game that's in front of them, and it's the biggest game in English football. I think it'll be a real test for both sides. Liverpool will go in as favourites, even though they're the away team. But I can see a draw in that game.
Like I said, I think if United sit back and allow pressure and allow Liverpool to come at them, Liverpool will have a field day and win 3-4-5. If United have a go, I could see it being a score draw or Liverpool winning 3-2 or 4-2, something like that. Depends on how Ole sets up, depends on his tactics, and depends how the players coming back from injury get back into the swing of things.
Definitely. We'll go then to another team that are playing away from home and are favourites to win. Manchester City travel to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace have looked very good this year. They've been very good on the road for the last year.
They have
picked up a lot of points away from home. They're 6th in the table? Are they in the top 4 at the minute?
No, they're not in the top 4. Arsenal are 3rd and Leicester are 4th.
Yeah, I think Palace are find themselves 6th at the minute.
Yeah.
City can't afford to drop any more points.
No. And like I said in the podcast on Friday, that I wouldn't want to be the team that Manchester City are facing up against this weekend. Like England needed a big response, Manchester City need a big response. They cannot afford to drop more points. 8 points behind Liverpool already. Imagine if it's 10 or 11 at the end of game week 9. That's just not good enough, is it?
No. Will Roy Hodgson be licking his lips?
No. They beat them away last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
They beat them at the end.
I mean, Roy loves when teams come and try to play football. He trusts his 2 banks of 4 to hold them out.
Yeah.
He trusts Wilfred Zaha to go at them on the break, win a penalty.
With Andros Townsend
on the other side bombing up. AU's got a couple of goals this year as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they've picked up results, but they have been mostly away from home. They've not looked great playing in London. City win for you?
Yeah, City win. Yeah,
City win to me.
2-0, 3-1, something like that.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't think that they'll win kind of 7-8 like they did against Watford, but I think that they'll win reasonably comfortably.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to a team then that really, really are under pressure. A team that are missing James Coleman, similar to Ireland. 2 red cards in 3 games. I think highlights my point from earlier.
Yeah.
Everton.
Yeah.
They're home to West Ham.
They are.
Who look pretty decent this year. How do you see that one going, Joe?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw, but I don't think I see an Everton win. I think the Everton players should respond. I'm just not too sure if this manager is capable of getting his players to respond in the right way, and if the players are really buying into what he's trying to do. I think he's had a long time in the Premier League to show what he's made of, and he really hasn't, has he? I mean, he showed flashes at Hull, but they still went down.
I don't think he'd ever stayed at a club for more than, I think it was 12 or 16 games or something.
Yeah.
He'd come in twice at new clubs and he'd given them a boost, before he'd gone to Everton.
Yeah.
And no one had ever really seen how these teams panned out. Like, I mean, Ole went to United last year and had this boost.
Yeah.
But that's just a honeymoon period for managers, isn't it?
It is. That's the new manager effect. They come in, they have different methods. People are excited because the old guy who they weren't particularly happy
Yeah,
playing
they're out
for
of
is
favour
gone.
with. Yeah.
Exactly. He might reintroduce some players who are on the fringes who would have been seen as key players at the time but lost their place along the way. And it's pretty easy to galvanise a squad that's been unhappy with this manager for a long period of time.
Now, Everton have been good at times this year. They're just so inconsistent. I mean, they played well for a period against City, a half-hour period. They looked pretty good. I watched them play against Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago, and I actually thought they were the better team for large periods of that game as well. But they're not organised defensively. They concede a goal every second game from a set piece. 40-something set piece goals in 80-something games over the last 2 years. A goal every 2 games from a set piece. The worst in the league.
It sounds like when Arsenal under Wenger and Liverpool under Benitez were both trying to man mark, and the easiest
Rodgers.
way to score against them was to swing a ball into the box from a corner, beat the first man, and you have every chance because they're so unorganised at the back for someone to get on the end of it. If you're not organised at set pieces.
Everton player Moise Keane has been nominated for the Golden Boy Award alongside Premier League players Guendouzi and Mason Mount. I can't see him winning it considering he's not playing any football right now.
I think Guendouzi will win it actually. I think that he's got
shock.
when I cast my vote this morning, he was leading on 10%. And I think there are a good number of people nominated, so 10% isn't too shabby. The next Mount was second place on 8%. But I think Guendouzi's had a really, really, really solid year. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of hype around Moise Keane, and there was hype for a reason because he was really, really good for Juventus. I think that bringing him at Juventus, he had Mandzukic, Dybala, Ronaldo all ahead of him in the pecking order. At Everton, he's been brought in, and there's a lot of expectations placed on his shoulders. Cenk Tosun and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who I think is decent, but he's a workhorse striker who'll maybe get you kind of 6 to 8 goals a season.
Hopefully set up another 6 or 8.
Exactly, he's that sort of.
Is he a championship striker, Joe?
I think that you could probably say that he's a championship striker. Maybe.
Look, he's young enough, but I mean he's been playing in the Premier League for 3 seasons now.
I mean he's a guy you could put on the left wing, right wing, and he'll run around for you. But he's kind of a John Walters type.
Not to diss John Walters.
No, a lot of respect for John Walters, and not to diss Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
He's a bit of a Dirk Kuyt, is he?
Yeah, not to diss Dirk Kuyt.
Do you think Calvert-Lewin would be better suited as a left wing back maybe?
I think he's the sort of player who could find himself playing there at some stage
down the line. Right, we'll move on from Everton West Ham. Did you give us a prediction for that?
I said it's probably going to be a draw.
You said draw?
I got 2-2 because Everton aren't great at the back. West Ham are decent.
I think Marco Silva, fighting for his life, will get a result. I think Everton will win at 1-0, and I don't think it'll be a great game of football.
Right.
We'll talk about Spurs. They've really, really overdue a result. They're playing at home against Watford, who have been really poor this year.
Barring that Arsenal game, they've been shocking.
Watford have been the worst team in the league this year. Spurs are hosting them. I know they slipped up against Brighton last time out. Brighton are playing well though, and Watford are not playing well. Spurs have got to win this game.
I think Spurs will win this game. I think that they have too much for Watford. I think that they're behind all of this trouble that they're going through. They're still a more than decent side. They really are. They have a good manager who is probably due a bigger club.
Is he a good manager?
Yeah, I think he's a good manager. When he came in, they were flirting kind of with the top four, occasionally getting in. He has solidified them.
I think when he can motivate his players, when he can get them, he demands such a high intensity style, similar to Klopp. Guardiola as well. Aguero struggled to get in Guardiola's team for a while because he didn't buy into it. When he can motivate these guys to just run endlessly, he gets a result, he gets a performance. He's all about sprints, distance covered, stats like this, and he was actually the first Premier League manager to come in and do this just before Klopp did. But I mean, he's had the same squad now for 4 years. A lot of these guys are sick of just running around.
That's it. He's not really freshened up the squad too often. Like last summer, they didn't even sign a player.
No, I think that they went 3 windows without signing anyone consecutively.
That was it. Yeah.
I know they've got a couple of guys in, but they've got to strengthen in January, don't they?
Yeah, big time. I think.
Do you think Pochettino will be there in January?
Unless Manchester United or Real Madrid. I don't think Real Madrid will, because Zidane is. There's talk of that before, but Zidane's doing pretty well at the moment. Unless Manchester United make a move for him, then he'll still be there. Come the end of the season, come the start of next season, that's a different story. But January, Yeah, I think he'll still be there.
So comfortable Spurs win.
2-0. Yeah, Watford have been pretty poor.
Yeah, I'd say
like
3-0, 3-1.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on. Arsenal are travelling to Sheffield United.
They are
on Monday night.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
I think Arsenal will win that. Sheffield United have been good. Arsenal have key players coming back. You think of Alexander Lacazette, who's been out since the Liverpool game, and that seems like a really, really, really long time ago.
Yeah, it does.
At this stage, he walks straight back into that side when fit, and even if he's not fit enough to start the game, he'll be a great option to have off the bench, where he can come and draw players back, and the likes of Aubameyang and Pepe can.
Himself and Aubameyang seem to have quite a good relationship.
Yeah, they do. They're really good friends off the pitch. Along with Guendouzi as well, actually, they've really taken him under their wings, a younger brother type figure. But yeah, they have a great relationship on and off the pitch. Like if one of them's on the bench and the other one is playing and he scores, they always go over and they celebrate together. They have their almost.
Guendouzi French speaking, is he?
Yeah, he's French. I think of Moroccan descent, but he plays for the French under-21s. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Arsenal like a few French players, don't they?
They do, yeah, of course. It's a big connection there.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think Sheffield United have actually been really, really good this year.
They have. No,
they've not just been tough to beat, which they have been. They've not just been lumping the ball. I think they've been playing quite decent football, and they've been actually unlucky to not get a few of the results. They like Liverpool. I think were quite lucky to beat them. Gini Wijnaldum scored that late goal that Dean Henderson spilled into the goal.
Yeah, he had to save that.
Yeah, and that's that Liverpool team that have won 8 in a row. They've been really, really good. And I think Arsenal travelling there, they don't have a great record on the road, as good as they are at home, especially on a Monday night where you tend to get fewer goals per game. I could see that being another 0-0, even possibly a 1-0 Sheffield United if Arsenal aren't on it.
I don't think that Sheffield United will win. No.
I didn't think you would.
No, I don't. I can't see anything else other than an Arsenal win. I think Arsenal will win that. Okay. Without too much trouble. I think they'll be compact at the back again, like they were against Bournemouth, and I think a 1-0, 2-0, maybe a 2-1 will be the result.
Okay, all right. Chelsea host Newcastle. Fresh off a win against Manchester United.
Yeah.
How do you think Steve Bruce has got on so far? We talked a bit about Chelsea last week.
Yeah.
Steve Bruce?
He got a great result last time out, didn't he? And they set up decently against Arsenal on the opening day. They also beat Spurs.
I think that a lot of Newcastle fans weren't happy to see Bruce coming in.
Yeah.
He didn't have the greatest CV, and obviously losing Rafa was a massive loss for them. He loved the city, he loved the fans. He took their side when it came to everything Mike Ashley.
Yeah.
But Steve Bruce is 6 points better off than Rafa Benitez last year.
Yeah, and he's beaten 2 of the top 6 so far this year. The thing is that he's that sort of manager that can.
They're not playing worse football than Benitez.
No, they're not. They've been fine, and he's not the sort of manager. He's the sort of manager who can take those points from the big teams. But is he the sort of manager who can sustain results against teams who are in and around that kind of lower half of the table to the relegation zone over the course of the season? I'm not so sure that he is. I think that his record speaks against him in terms of taking teams down, and we've seen him do it a few times
but the same
last
logic,
15 years.
Ole took Cardiff down, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So he's not got a great track record either. Chelsea have looked much improved. They are actually third favourites to win the league now, with the bookmakers. Obviously still massive outsiders, but the bookies have them as the third best team in the league. They've got Callum Hudson-Odoi coming back in.
He was phenomenal for England under 21s last night with Eddie Nketiah, who scored a hat-trick, but Hudson-Odoi scored twice, and they were both screamers.
I mean, I listened to a great interview on BBC with Rob Green during the week, and he talked about Callum Hudson-Odoi in training last year. Obviously he was with Chelsea, and he was asked how often would he outshine Eden Hazard in training, and he made a joke saying Hazard was tired after games, he took a bit of a rest during training, and they said, okay, well, how many times was Callum Hudson-Odoi not the standout player? And the answer was once a week.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he's a winger, he's obviously going to try things that look brilliant, but I mean, all of the Chelsea players said that he was the best player week in, week out in training last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've talked so much about the Chelsea young players coming through and how well they've done. I mean, he's another one that's going to come back in, and I think Chelsea are going to look really, really dangerous. I can see Newcastle getting an absolute hiding this week.
Yeah.
Like a huge score, a 5 or a 6 kind of job, because Chelsea look good.
He's been really brave, Lampard, hasn't he? And
Yeah.
you think he's probably the perfect manager to come in at that time with a transfer ban, with that young crop of players, many of whom that he'd be familiar with, and obviously he's a club legend. He's the perfect man to kind of motivate them.
Yeah, but I think it's more than motivation, though. I think that they're set up really well.
His tactical nous, and we saw that with Derby last season when they took on Manchester United in the League Cup, that they were tactically superior to a Jose Mourinho team.
Yeah.
And the way that he's, you know, Giroud isn't even, who's scoring for France and is their main striker, isn't even getting on the bench. And Tammy Abraham's doing so well, and the likes of Mason Mount as well. They really don't seem to be missing out on Hazard too much at this stage.
Is Rudiger back in the team yet?
I'm not 100% sure. I think that he's nearing full fitness.
So I think Tamori and Zuma started the last game.
They did,
So he's still to come back in as well. He's obviously massive.
He's their best centre back.
Kante coming back into the team has made them much more defensively solid. I think they looked a bit vulnerable in the first few games, especially United took them apart. But since he's come back into the team, they've really been the complete package.
Yeah.
And I think they will actually they'll break away. I know you tipped them to maybe finish outside the top four. I think they're
no, I said they finished third or fourth. Yeah,
I think they're gonna keep pace with first and second. I think there'll be a gap between 1, 2, 3, and then a big gap. I think that they'll be up there. They won't be in top spot. Ever, but they'll keep pace with City while they're chasing, and Liverpool if they drop any points. I don't think they'll be too far behind because they look pretty unbeatable at the minute. So the team that I tipped to finish top four, then Leicester host Burnley. Leicester win for you.
Do you know Burnley are pretty decent?
They are. They're decent at home though.
They are. They're not too great away, and Leicester probably have too much quality for them. But I don't think that Burnley are that bad.
No, by no means are Burnley to be laughed at. I think they're not top half.
Yeah, they're not a walkover. It's not going to be comfortable for Leicester.
No.
Burnley never make it comfortable
for anybody, especially teams that like to play ball like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Sean Dyche is a very traditional English manager, if you will, the way that he sets up his team. So I'd expect a competitive game, but probably Leicester to nick it in the end.
I can see Leicester winning by a couple. I think. I don't think Burnley will give themselves a whole lot of hope going into it. I think Burnley are brilliant at targeting games that they know there's points there to be had. Yeah. And I think when they went through the fixtures at the start of the season, well, maybe not even, they might have reassessed it, but I don't think that's one that they'll target 3 points in. I think they'll be lucky to get a point from that. I think they know that. I think they'll save their energy for games against teams they know they can do a job on. I think Leicester will have too much, and I can see them winning 3-0. Right. Anything else to add on that?
No, not really. Like I said, I think it'll probably be a bit more competitive than you have.
You can see a narrow Leicester win.
A narrow, or maybe a 2-1, something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bournemouth Norwich.
That's an interesting one. They both like to play football, don't they?
They do. Norwich haven't been great on the road, though.
No.
In all truth, they look much better at home.
Well, saying that, they did get hammered at home in the last game, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. We spoke about missing a few first team players. I'm not sure how many they've got coming back. Bournemouth have found a little bit of form recently. They're up the top of the table. Callum Wilson scoring goals. Josh King got a goal international during the week as well.
He did, yeah.
A penalty last minute against Spain.
I did think they were very poor against Arsenal. They offered very little going forward, but I like you said.
I don't know. I think Callum Wilson could have got a couple, and Josh King. There was a few shaky moments in the box. I don't know.
There was a time when Callum Wilson went through, and he took it into a wide area, and he opted to cross when he probably should have just tried to hit it into the back of the net. But I thought it was a very comfortable game for Arsenal. I didn't see much in that Bournemouth side.
I think,
but Josh King is an excellent player. I think that it's surprising that none of the bigger clubs, no disrespect to Bournemouth, haven't put in an offer for him. Yeah, I think that at a club like Spurs, he'd do pretty well at. They're the sort of club who take a chance on players who are playing in lower teams and believe in their potential, and with the right coaching that they have, turn them into better players.
He could probably do a job at United as well. I think they're short forwards.
Do you know he was a trainee at United?
Was he? Yeah.
There
you go. I think it'd be a better game if Norwich were playing at home and Bournemouth were away. I think Norwich seemed to do better at home and Bournemouth seemed to do a bit better on the road. But what do you think? Bournemouth win?
Yeah, I think Bournemouth will respond to losing against Arsenal. I'd say 3-1.
You think there'll be goals?
Yeah, I think there'll be goals. Yeah, they're good going. Bournemouth are a really good attacking side.
Yeah, they are.
Fraser's not even making the bench at the moment. So.
Yeah, but I think that's more a contractual thing, isn't it?
Well, it is. He's not going to sign a new deal, and why play a player who's not going to be there next season? So.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to say 1-0 Bournemouth. I'm going to think it's going to be a narrow one. You think there'll be goals?
I think there'll be goals, yeah.
Alright, cool. Villa Brighton. Villa don't seem to score a lot of goals until last week. or 2 weeks ago. Brighton have been playing good football, maybe hadn't got the results they wanted, and got a result last time out as well.
I think this is the dud of the weekend. Is on paper.
Well, there's two teams that hadn't got the results they wanted, that have maybe been playing good football and actually got the results last time out. So both teams should be coming into the game on a high, and I think both teams will actually back themselves to win it.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a competitive game. I'm not sure how great either team are at the back.
Villa were very open when they played Arsenal, and to be fair to them, they went at Arsenal and really gave it. But like defensively, they didn't have too much of a structure about them. Brighton obviously were very, very structured under Chris Hughton, almost too structured for the board's liking, because they got rid of him in the end. Under Graham Potter, they've been a bit more exciting. So it'll probably be a half decent game of football, but it's competitive. It's not the eye catching fixture of the week.
I think it's probably the hardest fixture to call though.
Yeah. Just looking at it, I can't. I might say a draw. I say 2-2. What would you go for?
Don't think that's a bad shout, Joe. I'm going to go with you on 2-2. Yeah. The final game of the weekend, Wolves against Southampton. Wolves have found a little bit of form again. I know they've been struggling at the start of the year, obviously starting a bit earlier with Europa League and dealing with that. They've had players away in internationals and stuff as well. You would expect them to win this game. I know Southampton have been a bit better this year.
You would, but if you're looking back last year, these are the sort of games that Wolves struggled in a little bit. They came up
the games they were expected to win. Yeah.
Saying that, I am going to go for a Wolves win, but it's I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. They are so good against the top six. They're the giant killers of the Premier League at the moment. They've really made their name for that. The way that they set up is just so ideal for punishing the bigger sides. Yeah. But saying that they are a good side, and I expect them to win against Southampton, who, although Rafe Hasenhüttl has
Hasenhüttl.
It's a difficult name to pronounce.
It is, yeah.
Rafe Hasenhüttl has certainly improved them. I still don't think they're a great side. They'll be one that'll be finishing in the bottom half for sure.
Yeah. Wolves win for you?
Yeah, comfortable. 2-0.
I'm going to say 1-0.
Yeah.
2-1.
They like a clean sheet though, Wolves.
They don't mind a clean sheet, yeah. I think Southampton might have one in them. They can get forwards but leave themselves vulnerable at the back. I'm going to say 2-1 Wolves. Right, we're coming towards the end of the pod, guys. We have a couple of more bits that we wanted to maybe go back to and have a chat about. We like doing quotes of the week and discussions. If there's anything that people watching us, they see we've got 3 viewers there. Go on, lads. If there's anything you guys would like to talk about, we've got a couple of minutes. The last topic we had to discuss was possibly Ryan Giggs' comment on Dan James during the week.
Yeah.
Dan James appeared to be knocked out for a few seconds playing for Wales.
Yeah, he went up with a challenge against Domagoj Vida, who's a big,
heavy man,
a heavy Croatian centre back.
Yeah,
looks a little bit like a character out of Lord of the Rings, and Dan James landed on the floor in quite a tough way. Yeah, and he stayed down with his eyes closed. So when you see that, you worry a lot.
Yeah, he was kind of limp and sprawled out. Like Ryan Giggs came out when he was questioned as to why he stayed on the pitch, why he wasn't taken off for concussion protocol, and said that he was. What was the quote?
He was showing his tactical nous, or he was being savvy. It was that kind of that kind of expression.
So he's either covering up a genuine concussion scare, or he's saying that Dan James, who's already got a bit of a reputation for diving, maybe had the game stopped intentionally for a couple of minutes to slow it down.
Yeah.
Got himself a bit of attention, maybe drew the attention of the referee to a heavy challenge. There's not really a place in the game for that, is there?
There's not. They were trying to kill time, weren't they? And I think there are much better ways of doing that than feigning concussion. Yeah. It's a pretty.
Now I can understand some of the frustration from the Welsh guys, because I mean the Croatian tactic was just to kick them. Pep Guardiola loves a tactical foul, and I mean, there was a lot of tactical fouls from Croatia. It's something I've heard discussed this week in social media, whether or not maybe yellow cards can be brought in for tactical fouls, even if it's a player's first one of the game, if it's the team's 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th, because there are teams that are set up to play on the counter attack, and if you stop their counter attack early,
a tactical foul,
a free kick is no good for them.
Yeah, it is supposed to be a yellow card though. Professional foul.
It's not, you look at Man City play, and
Fernandinho was the expert.
But I mean, he makes 7 or 8 of those a game and picks up 7 or 8 bookings a year.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think maybe that it's something that could be policed a bit more, tactical fouls.
Yeah, definitely, because it's going to stop people from committing fouls on a regular basis, and it's going to stop managers from being able to implement a game plan based around tactical fouls.
Yeah. We've got one question. Upset for the coming weekend. I've gone with Sheffield United to upset Arsenal. I know they're playing at home, but Arsenal would go into that game as favourites. Joe, have you got an upset for the weekend?
The one that I could see, and I don't know if it would be much of an upset, but West Ham away to Everton. Like, looking at that on paper, not considering how teams,
especially the resources, Everton have spent 250 million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, West Ham have spent money as well, but if you can call that an upset, then I'm going to go for West Ham against Everton to beat them. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. Well, Joe, I think that's just about all we've got time for. Thanks very much, my man.
Thanks very much. That was
Until
great.
next time. Thanks for joining us, guys. Cheers. Thanks.